How's it going, everybody? Henry here. In this video, we're going to go over how to make $100 a day podcasting. This is my podcast, the Positive Mindset Podcast. It is what I use. It's a real podcast, so you can check it out. I know a lot of these videos where people talk about, how they make money, affiliate marketing, all these things. They don't actually show their website or the products that they use. And although those things can be inspiring, and I've watched a lot of those videos and learned things, I want to be as transparent as possible because my mission with the podcast is it's obviously the Positive Mindset Podcast. So I want to help people with their mindset, cheer them up, give them a perspective. But my overall mission and why I want to do it as a business is because it's something I want to do full time, put all my energy in, and then be able to invest it. I work in fitness, so I want to be able to invest it into my own gyms that I want to build up. And so that's kind of the why behind it and why I want to be transparent with it. But if you want to make $100 a day, that is very doable. It's not going to be easy if you do it through ads, and that's the way that I'm mainly doing it right now. But you can do it through affiliate marketing, through a podcast. You can sell services. There's so much you can do, and we're going to talk about that today. But the main income driver, just to tell you from the front, if that's all you want to see, is the $100 days through ads. You can actually see my current balance. This is through a 6 days. So I still have one more day, which would be a Thursday. Really, it's probably like 28 hours if I were to do the math from when I'm recording this to where this will be total. So this will end up being over $800, probably 850-ish, which is more than $100 a day because, again, it's a $7 total. But we will dive more into that to let you know what it takes to make that. Let me show you the kind of views or downloads that you have to get since the podcast. So my 7-day average is 15,000. So that means 15,000 unique listeners listen to my podcast over the past 7 days. The estimated audience is how many downloads an episode gets from 30 days. So that was when it was created, and then 30 days back where at. This actually used to be higher when I would only do 3 episodes a week. Now that I do 5 a week, it has lowered that, and I think it's just because there's more content. So say somebody would have missed an episode before, they would have normally had to go back a day and listen to it if they wanted to catch up. But since there's a new episode coming out the next day, they might just catch that one and not go back to listen to the other one. So it has lowered that. And then my total plays is over 1.3 million. It only updates like in this whole number, so it's a little bit hard to see. So it's 1.3 million, and that'll go to 1.4 probably in a couple weeks. So that'll be changing. This is my growth chart, so you can see how it's been trending upward. There's still some time left on this, so since it's Wednesday night that I'm recording this, it resets on Friday or on Thursday, like the end of Thursday, and so that's why I pay it on Friday. It just kind of matches up with the way this trends. So you can see right here, it's currently at 34,101 plays. That might go up a little bit more, and if it does, that would obviously, do well as far as how many downloads. A little bit more than the week prior, 34,028. So it went up about 100 there. Just to show you what that looks like on Spotify, and this is just to kind of give you some back end stuff if you want to know like what it looks like when you have podcasts, the different sites like the Spotify, the iTunes, all that stuff, what it looks like. And just a reminder, if you do enjoy this content, a thumbs up helps. That makes the video become more discoverable, so someone else might discover it, want to watch it, and learn something. And subscribe if you want to see future videos as I update this. I do an update video once a week. You can go back and watch them as I've been uploading them, where it just shows my weekly income, the ups and downs of that. So it's an update post Friday when I do my payout, so you can see that. And that does include affiliates and other sponsors outside of Anchor, which we're not talking about in this podcast. So I do have other revenue streams that are through the podcast, but they're not on the pod. They're not like on Anchor, which is the easiest way to do it. You just set up your podcast on Anchor, and they'll start paying you after you grow it through a certain size. But this is the Spotify background. So this is all the metrics through Spotify. You can see, the top episodes for the past week. How they did. You can see my ranking. So I rank in education. That's where the podcast is considered. So number 15 right now in Australia for education, which is pretty cool. 18 in the UK, which is awesome. 25 in the USA. And this is kind of cool. So top podcasts, that's like all podcasts altogether. I'm number 101 in the Philippines. So if you are checking this out and you're from the Philippines, hi. And thank you for the support out there. But what you have here is you have your catalog. So when I click this, you're going to see the different podcasts I have. These are the same ones. I just moved like the server at one point, but none of these are active at this time. All the episodes that I did on these ones now are just all on the Positive Mindset channel. So they do still get some downloads because it's like old and it's there and someone might discover it, but all new uploads or all downloads are on the new one. So streams, this is just on Spotify. I've had 18,000, almost 19,000 streams in the past 7 days. You can set that to, whatever range you'd like. But when you click on it, it gives you a cool little chart. I check this one pretty much all the time because the graph is really nice to look at. So for me, visually, it gives me a good indicator of how things are growing. Now, my podcast is actually starting to grow a little bit more on iTunes, which we'll look at that one too. So that's great. But for the longest time, it was the largest on Spotify. It still is largest on Spotify. But I like to look at the 90-day. Kind of gives me a good view. So this is the 90-day look of what the podcast is. So you can see there was a big downtrend from October through November, December, through there, and then Christmas time it got really low. But then we popped up in January. New Year's resolutions I think really helped with my type of podcast. And so it's been up and down, but pretty steady. Here's the thing though, like you can tell here, this is kind of averaging out. It actually went down a little bit even, but starting to build back up as of yesterday. But if you go over to my Anchor, you can see that I'm still kind of an upward climb. Other than that one really low week, I'm still on an upward climb. That's because iTunes has been growing. So this is where it breaks down your different platforms. So you can see I've got Spotify still major, 72%. If I got as many listens I did on Spotify, on Apple, that'd be awesome. It's just there's more competition on Apple, and I think it's a little bit hard to get noticed, but hopefully it'll continue to get traction and grow in there. But this used to be really small. Anchor or Spotify used to be in the 90s, and it's just slowly lost ground to the other ones, which is fine. This is the graphic location, so this is where people listen to the podcast, which is kind of cool. Main places would be United States, United Kingdom, Australia, Canada, Philippines, Ireland, New Zealand, and then it goes, those are probably a lot of like accidental clicks. I don't know how many people in these countries are probably listening to my podcast, but it gives you breakdown of gender and then of course age. So all really, really cool stuff. But one of the things you want to look at with money, this is like total earnings right here. So this is just through Anchor. So this doesn't include any advertisers that I get outside of here, like using Podcorn or AdvertiseCast, and I'll do more videos on those later, but this is just through Anchor. I have the host read ad, which is the big one that most people go for, and then I use automated ads, which it just automatically does that. It's like a commercial you'd hear on the radio or something, so it puts that in there. It only, unfortunately, plays on Spotify, so I don't get credit for this on any other platform, but I'll definitely take it. There are subscriptions and listener support. I do not have those turned on. I probably should, but I've had them on before, and I changed up some stuff and took it off, and I probably just need to turn it back on, but we'll talk about that another time. iTunes. So this one is kind of cool to look at. So over the past 60 days, I've had 51,000 plays on iTunes. And it's kind of hard. Like if you just look at this at a glance, at least on my end, it kind of looks flat. But it's the way that the graph is. So if you look at it right here, so in early January, which January was really high on Spotify, if you remember, if I go back over here to Spotify, this is early January, right? I'm at the peak. I haven't had, except for maybe this one day, peaks like this since then. But if you swing back over here, in those early January days, it was low. It was like at 1,000. But now on these, and this is like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday usually, like these peaks are right there. But now I'm much higher. So these are like 200 or so plays higher. And 200 plays may not seem like a lot, but if that's every day, then that makes a huge difference over time. So pretty cool growth with that, and that's pretty much what it takes to get to $100 a day. Again, this is, we can refresh this so you can see it's live, $693. So if it ended today and I was going to cash out today, that's actually more because this is under 6 days. I still have a whole other day where it'll pick up some money. And this is a good week, and it's a good week because it does pay out these automated ads. And I'll talk about that Friday, what the breakdown is of those, so stay tuned and subscribe if you want to see that stuff. But I say all this because podcasting is, I think, it's not new. It's been around for a while now, but it's starting to grow. It's really growing as a medium. I think it's different than YouTube. Like YouTube, you're looking at me. I think the connection is different. You're having to pay attention to what is going on. On podcasting, it can go with you. So you can listen to podcasts while you drive a little bit easier than you can watch a YouTube video. You can listen to it while you're going to sleep or relaxing or whatever. So the way you digest podcasting is very different, and it's just the beginning of what's available. There is video now on Spotify and stuff, so it's going to be kind of like YouTube in that sense. It just doesn't have the search engine capabilities that YouTube has. But if you get in now, you're still getting in pretty early. Like the amount of podcasts there are versus the amount of YouTube channels there are, it's not even comparable. And, $100 a day to me doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Because, if someone gave you $100 today, maybe it wouldn't change your life. But if that same person came up every single day, continued to give you $100, it would really start to add up. And the value in that is it could give you just a little bit of financial relief, doing something you enjoy. I love the subject matter that I talk about with the positive mindset. I mean, it's my favorite thing. But you could pick up something you enjoy. It could be talking about wrestling. It could be cars, anything that you're interested in. So it's already something you enjoy. And worst case scenario, if you love doing it, and don't think about the money, if you love talking about that subject and being a part of that subject, you will create a community or find a community that is like-minded. And so just from that alone, you will really enjoy, what you're doing. But the additional part is you could start making some money from it, and it could turn into a new career for you to get to do something you love, or it could generate some extra money to help pay bills so that you can continue to do the job that you love or live the life that you're living that you love without the pressure, the financial pressure, because it could ease that. Or three, and this is kind of the category I fall in, where I do love talking about mindset and helping people and being there for them. So that's why I love doing it. But I also do like my job. Like I enjoy what I do. I enjoy who I work for. The goal is to use this money to be able to invest to buy a franchise, and do a fitness facility that I want to do, for my own. So it's going to give me that capability because I don't have another way of doing it. I don't necessarily have money I can borrow from somebody or a situation where I would feel comfortable doing that. So it gives me that opportunity. And so, whatever your motivation is, go for it. Just make your first episode. That's the biggest thing. I know so many people message and reach out, especially on Instagram. I get a lot of messages where people say, I got this idea for a podcast, and they just don't do it because they're trying to make like the perfect episode. And you're never going to make the perfect episode. Like the episode you make now compared to what you'll make 5 years from now, if you continue to practice every day for 5 years, it's not going to be comparable. But you can't have the episode that you want to do 5 years from now if you don't do the episode today. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully that got you inspired to make your podcast, to make your mark, to get in the energy that you want to get into, and hopefully you'll be making $100 a day or much more. Hopefully you surpass whatever I'm doing, and it's even bigger and grander because you absolutely can. If you have the idea and you have the vision, you can absolutely do it. Well, thank you so much for watching this video. If you did like it, again, a thumbs up makes it more discoverable. It helps me out, so I appreciate that. And of course, if you want to follow the journey, subscribe, and let's do it together.